had the pleasure of working together for a couple of years now, and you are growers and have a couple of other agricultural interests up in the Clear Lake, Wisconsin area. So tell me a little about your farm,
Sure.
about the generations, about your other businesses.
Sure. So yeah, we farm and sell crop insurance and farm insurance with my brother-in-law Scott, my dad Tom, my sister Mal, and Dad used to milk cows. He sold the cows. I went to River Falls for ag engineering. Then we started farming again back in 06, 07. And yeah, we farm about 1,300 acres now. And Scotty, you joined in 10-ish? I don't know, maybe it was after that.
11, 12-ish.
Okay.
So.
And you also have another business that's crop insurance?
Correct. Yep. The crop insurance and farm insurance, that's where we make our money, and then we burn it up in farming, I guess, if you will.
What's interesting to me is that, a decade ago, when I would talk to growers were either organic or conventional, right? You had to be in one camp or the other.
Yep.
Today, what we see, a lot of folks like you're biologically minded conventional growers.
Yep.
So how did you get to that place?
I would say, 8-10 years ago, we started using some humic acids and stuff, some dry products. We started doing less tillage. We've incorporated cover crops. We've probably been doing that for 7-8 years, and I don't know, we've just seen a lot of benefits from it. Using turkey manure.
Yeah.
So less commercial fertilizers and less salts in the row, we use very little fertilizer in general at all. It's a little nitrogen, I guess.
Right.
We use the manure and then your products and the sugars and the in-row, and so,
and you work with Andy Gladowski.
Yep.
I know Andy, and you know what? Every grower that I work with that works with Andy talks about his passion, his commitment, and he's.
There's no doubt about that.
Your success is as important to him
for sure
as it is to you. It seems to me in Andy's case.
Yeah,
so
he's super passionate about it.
we're going to go out and look at your fields in a minute.
Yep.
Soybeans, but you said to me something interesting when we were together last week.
Yep. Yeah, I was talking about the fungicides. Maybe 7-8 years ago, we were putting fungicide on everything, on our first spray to kill this and that, and it seemed to work okay for the first year or two, but then after that, our yields started going down, mainly because of this white mold issue we've had.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go from having 50, 60 bushel beans and white mold comes in, it goes down to 10 to 20,
right?
And you can't have that. And I think originally it started to help, but now we're having an adverse effect.
You felt it.
Yes.
Just killed a lot of the things.
It killed all the beneficials, right? It just sterilized the soil, is in my opinion, and I've done some research on it, but
I had another grower explain it to me this way. They said, the trends in medicine are the same in the trends in farming. That we're going from chemotherapy to immunotherapy, right?
Yes.
We're going from use a chemical to kill everything to build up your natural immune systems.
Yes,
and that same thing is happening.
Or eating better stuff. Yeah,
right,
the same
right,
thing.
right.
Yeah.
And I think, and you alluded to it, when you do have a biologically healthy soil, you not only can use less chemistry, but you can use less fertilizers, because if you bring biology and carbon into the mix, well, you're not going to leach away as much of the fertility. You tie it up first, you immobilize it first, and then you make it plant available. So and I think in this day and age, with input costs going through the roof, more and more growers are going to turn to biology, because biology and carbon, along with their smart mineral selections, can really go a long way.
I've seen the earthworm activity in our ground in the last 10 years. It's phenomenal. It's just mellow ground.
Put the CX1 against some other options before we got started. And I know we were together a year ago, and we did some side-by-side comparisons then.
It looked greener. It yielded a little better, and I think you asked me last time you were here, just like, well, do you have any test strips? And we don't. It worked last year, so we have it on the whole farm. So,
Andy is a big believer you can see root development and growth. You can see girth, and you can see plant health. But he's a big believer in bricks, which is the measured nutrients.
He's been on before to talk about that.
So when we measured that last year, it was twice as high in the CX1, the biology side, as it was in the other side. So good. Let's go out and take a peek.
Sounds good.
Okay, so now we're out here in one of your many soybean fields, and just walk me through a little bit about the history, about your decision to look at building biology, as opposed to the setting it back a little bit, and what you saw over the years.
Sure. No, as I was saying with that one particular field, that was a 40 back 6-7 years ago. That would have been one of the last years we used the fungicides, and they were actually, this field was average 40-ish bushel. So that was corn soybean rotation. And then we move ahead to 17, where we're using them pretty heavy now. I think that was maybe the last year of it. And you can see on this 40 up in the corner, the white mold started to devastate it. You move ahead 2 years forward in 19, before we were actually using the sugars and the CX1, and it completely wiped the field out. And then now as we move into last year, it would have had CX1 and the sugar on the corn, and now this year on the soybeans, and there's literally no white mold out there, and I'm guessing it's going to be 15 to 20 bushel more in that field. And I would say similar growing conditions. And back in 19, there was a small part of that field that did not have white mold, and it was 70s. So
right.
It's pretty clear cut.
You've gone. I think you. I asked about check strips, and you said no, not this year. It's on all your acres, all your crops.
Yep.
Yeah. So, what would you say to somebody who is sitting out there listening, thinking, I don't know if I could trust this. I don't know. I like the tools in my toolbox now. How do I start?
What I would tell someone is just to try it. We do a lot of all that. Everyone has all these gimmicks of, try this or this variety, and it might work on their data, but put it on your own farm, split a field, and if you get the same results as me, you'll see where it got white mold or where it didn't get white mold, I guess. And just the activity in the soil, and
just take the step.
Yeah.
Try it on some, and
good.
We did. Now it's on all.
Right.
Good. Well,
and I don't work for a purple cow.
Right.
Well. Again, it's the highlight of my day, week, month when I'm able to stand in the field with guys like yourself that are forward thinking, looking at new ways to improve what they're doing. And as I said, it doesn't do anybody any good if you're putting on inputs that are not getting up into the plant, right? So if you can use carbon and biology to use less fertility, make sure what you use does get to the plant, and then you can use biology to make sure that once you've started that plant, it stays strong throughout the season. And that's kind of the name of the game.
Yep. With this biology, the weather extremes, we can handle them a lot better. Whether it be too much rain, I mean, this ground can take a lot of water, and if it's gets dry like it did this summer, it holds in there a long time.
I was just talking to another grower in this region yesterday, and you had really pockets of dry temperature this year, and he happened to be doing a trial, and he said that throughout the drought this year, he couldn't believe the difference in the color. Now, it hasn't gone to yield yet, but just the resiliency, I think, that you gain when you have, biologically healthy soils.
Right. And I think the manure has really helps us in drought as well.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for so long.
Right.
Humics help a lot.
We just got to get our organic matter up to like 10%, and we don't have to worry about anything after that. Right?
I mean, looking into the future, what are your next steps of what you'd like to do?
I would like to try to incorporate a cover crop that would be, an inch or two tall at this point in the game, but it's tough up here in the northern climate, and we have tried some fly and stuff, or not us personally, but I just think you have so much better take if you can work that in or actually seed it in the ground as opposed to flying it on top.
Yeah. Think you'll ever dabble in a few organic acres?
I'd love to. Once the boys are a little older, I can sit on a cultivator all day.
Again, I'll just say thanks. It's really great. Thanks for your business and support, and for all the great work you're doing up here. Dabble in a few organic acres?
I'd love to. Once the boys are a little older, I can sit on a cultivator all day.
Yeah, there's some dollars per bushel advantage right now to do that.
For
But
sure.
now that's a ways down the road for I think for most biologically minded conventional growers, because they're still going to want to have the reassurance that they still have something that they can turn to should they need it. And it sounds like you guys have, and that's terrific.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think this is the magic of what Amy at the office does. She'll make me sound smart, and you guys will look good, and
We'll look smart. I'll sound smart too.
yeah. Please, Amy, work your magic. Again, I'll just say thanks. It's really great. Thanks for your business and support, and for all the great work you're doing up here.
Sure. All good. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. All right. Well,
Take some of it and
yeah.